This has been my jam.
I know that I'm supposed to make him wait.
Let him think I like the chase. As you can tell from the title of this video, I'm going to be talking about the pros and cons of living in the city of Chicago. Excuse me. Whew, trying not to be nervous. I don't know why I get on here and I get nervous. Yeah, let's just get right into it. I know you just want to hear about my thoughts on living in the city. I've been living in the city for a couple months now. I am from the Chicago area, but I am from the suburbs, so I guess technically I'm not from Chicago. But this is my first time actually living in the city, and so these are my thoughts on my experience. So I guess I'll start out with the pros. So one of the biggest reasons that I decided to even move to the city was because I wanted to be around people that were my own age. I lived in the suburbs for a long time and I never saw anybody my age. It was mostly, you know, moms and kids and just people that didn't look like me. So, you know, I'm still trying to build a life here. So, you know, I felt like my odds were very, very low of finding a life partner or finding friends, you know, if I'm never around people that are my age, or just in my, like, just people that I would want to be around or to possibly date or be friends with. That's just the honest truth. Like, that's the biggest reason I decided to give this a try. Also, they were having a lot of deals on you know, living situations in the city, and this like never happens, so I felt, let me just capitalize on that and just give it a try for once in my life. And you're just like closer to social events. Like, I see all these things that are popping up now that the city is opening up, and I'm really close to it. And you know, the next thing is actually just going. That's the next toughest hurdle to climb over. Number two, I would say, is of course the city of Chicago is very beautiful. There's a lot of beautiful areas. The architecture is just top notch. It's like second to none. The lake is beautiful. There's a lot of like little areas around the city where there's a lot of shops and restaurants and a lot of things to explore. And so I would say that's probably another huge pro of the city. Of course, you know, like being in the city, there's just more things to do, more places to go, more experiences. And that's kind of my number three pro. You're just closer to more things. Me personally, I'm kind of closer to my job, and so that is huge for me. My commute used to be a long time, and now it's not very long at all. So that's a huge pro. I found hairstylists a lot easier in the city than when I was in the suburbs. It was really, really hard. So it's just more things to do, more experiences, and it's new for me. Like, I was living in the suburbs for a long time and I just wanted to do something different. And so I've definitely had a lot of new experiences. Well, I mean, everything's new, right? Because I moved, so I've just been going to the grocery store and just doing, like, running errands and stuff like that. But you know, because it's all new, it's like exciting. Like, how do I get there and what is it gonna be like, and everything's new. So and I will say, to go back to number one, I definitely have been around people that are my age. Now the next step would be to actually interact with people, and that hasn't really happened. There was one situation where I think a guy was trying to be nice to me, but I was so awkward, it just didn't work, and I just kept walking. And I felt actually really bad because he probably thought I was really stuck up and rude, but I just was caught off guard because I haven't had a whole lot of that type of attention, even with being in the city and being around more people my age. A lot of the dudes that I've been around, like, they'll be like just like this, like, and I'm just like, okay, well, you know. So I mean, but my odds are greater. There's gotta be somebody, right? Somebody. So no, I have not had all this attention or anything like that, but I'm like, at least my odds are larger being in the city. So yeah, just this morning I saw this dude walking his dog and I was like, ooh. But anyway, so now let's get to the cons. So of course, when you're living in a big city, it's more expensive. I moved actually from a bigger apartment to a smaller apartment. It's a nicer, more modern apartment, but it is smaller and I am paying more. Not a whole lot more because again, I got a deal, but if this was regularly priced, it would be astronomically more than what I was paying in the suburbs. So definitely it's more expensive. I have been paying twice on groceries. I don't know why that is. Like the last couple months I've spent double than what I was spending on groceries in the suburbs, and I don't know if that's just because I moved and I'm just trying to like restock my fridge and my pantry and stuff like that, but groceries I think are more expensive. There's a bag tax. Like if you get plastic bags or paper bags, it's 7 cents per bag. It's kind of like an honor system though. You don't, I mean, you have, there's no police that are watching you, and I notice a lot of the cashiers, they don't even like tag that on, but you're supposed to be charged an extra 7 cents for every bag that you use. So they want to encourage you to use your own reusable bag. So I've been trying to do that. And then there's like a 14 cents tax on bottled water. So anytime you buy bottled water, you get an extra 14 cents tacked on. Now that does get tacked on automatically every time you buy bottled water. So there's that. And just, I think groceries in general are just more expensive in the city. And then everywhere you go, other than like the grocery stores, you have to pay for parking, basically is what I'm trying to get to. Parking is expensive, and pretty much everywhere you go that's not a grocery store, you're gonna have to pay for parking. So yeah, it's just more expensive in general in the city. I've noticed that I've been doing Uber Eats more. Like I could count on one hand how many times I did Uber Eats in the several years I was living in the suburbs. But I've been doing Uber Eats because it's like you just don't want to go anywhere. You just don't want to have to deal with like getting in your car and then trying to find a parking spot and dealing with some of the other things that I'm going to talk about in a second. And it's just so much easier to get Uber Eats, but it's expensive. Like a $10 meal could, you know, of course it's going to be double. It's going to be $20, $25, you know, with Uber Eats. So there you go. It's more expensive just to eat, just to like live in the city, I think, just to exist. So that's one. Another one is there's more traffic because it's just more people. And so I noticed like the like regular streets aren't that bad. Like you can find ways around some of the more busy streets, and so that's okay. But in general, there's just more traffic, there's more people, and because there's more traffic and more people, I noticed there's a little bit more road rage. People drive a little bit more crazy in the city, just doing crazy stuff. Like an example is like people just don't have patience. Like some people don't have patience. And an example is one day, this literally was like 2 days ago, I was at a red light and I was in the left turn lane, and I was the first person. So you know when you're the first person in the left turn lane, you've been sitting there the longest, and you kind of, I started to kind of daydream, drift off. Like I wasn't just like sitting there looking at the light to change. I wasn't just like right there with my foot like right on the gas, like ready to go, you know. So I kind of like, you know, relaxed a little bit. I'd been sitting there for probably about 30-40 seconds, and so, and it was like the sun was setting and I couldn't really see if the light had changed or not because the sun was kind of blinding me from the light. And so I think the light had changed and I didn't notice. And then I hear all this honking and I was like, what is that? Like, and I was like, oh, somebody must be honking to tell me to go. And so then I start to go, and then I see in my side view mirror that it's a car, 2 cars behind me, that comes into the oncoming traffic lane. They get out of line, they go into the opposite traffic lane to try to go around me so that they can make a left-hand turn in front of me. So I'm going, and then I see this car coming up on the side of me, trying to just zoom in front of me. And I was just like, are you kidding me? Like, you're a couple cars back and you're that impatient. That was the car that was honking at me. And I was like, you really are willing to risk getting in a car accident because you're that impatient? And it literally, I literally had probably been sitting there for like a couple seconds. It wasn't like I was sitting there for, you know, 10, 15 seconds. It literally was probably 2 or 3 seconds. So the car is trying to zoom. I just stopped and I just let the car go because I don't want to get into a car accident trying to drag race with this person that I don't even know. But that could have been an accident because, you know, like if the car behind me wasn't paying attention and then they kept going and then I stopped, they could have rear-ended me, you know, and then the car would have went, and then it would have been a whole accident that this car caused and they would have got away scot-free. But thankfully, thank the Lord above, that didn't happen. The car behind me had some sense too, and they didn't rear-end me. And yeah, so that's just one situation. There was another situation, again, like I was at a left turn lane and literally the light turned green and it was like green, honk, 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 honk. And I was like, it just turned green, can I get a second? And you know, I'm a little petty, so when people do that, that gets on my nerves. So I was driving extra slow, and I know I shouldn't do this because you don't know who is in them cars, but I started driving extra slow. I was like, oh, okay, you want me, I'm not going to drive fast now. Like, you should have just waited. But anyway, so people are some of the people are a little impatient, a little bit of road rage that you notice. I feel like in the suburbs, people are way more laid back. They just let you go. They don't try to drive, they don't drive crazy, they don't honk. Nobody honks their horns in the suburbs. Like, it's way more laid back and way more just chill. Like, really, I feel like I was the one that was driving a little bit whatever in the suburbs. Yeah, and then the last one that, you know, Chicago gets a bad reputation for is, of course, the crime. There is more crime, you know, I'm sure statistically in the city versus the suburbs, and I feel like I have kind of seen that a little bit more even in the couple months that I've been here. One just little example is that I ordered Uber Eats the other day. Uber Eats never came. The driver, I guess, stole my order. You know, they're supposed to take a picture of it when they deliver it, and clearly they took a picture, but they like covered up the camera, and the Uber Eats, the driver didn't have a picture. I'm like, how is this person signed up for an account and they don't have a picture? So I guess it was just some person who was just scamming and stealing people's orders or whatever. Never has happened to me ever before in the suburbs. So, and I don't know why that like bothered me so much, that, cause I'm like, what if, so if people are doing that with Uber Eats, what if I was in like a Uber car, like with an actual person? Like, are they scamming on Uber too? I don't know, but I just don't like, I don't like that feeling. And then there's been things that have happened like way worse than that, like shootings and things like that, that I've never been this close to before. And it is a little disconcerting, and it just, like the other day I just had to say, oh sorry, that was my speaker. The other day, like I really got scared because I've just heard of things happening that have happened, and I'm like, you know, you think like I could have been there. Like, what if I was there when that happened? Or what if I was walking down the street and then that happened? Or, you know, there's been like carjackings, and it's just, yeah, there's been some bad things that have happened. And I had to say Psalm 91 the other day. just to like calm myself down. Like 1,000 at that side, 10,000 at the right hand, but it will not come near me. Like I had to just say that just to like calm my nerves down, you know. I grew up with a mom who was very like, she grew up in Chicago too, and she's very like, don't do this, don't leave your purse, don't, you know. And so I think that's been kind of like instilled in me, and so, and I get now why she's like that. I get it now, as an adult as well. But yeah, so, oh yeah, there's like ambulances every 2 seconds in the city. So it's louder, there's more hustle and bustle. It's not calm. So if you want like a calm, serene place to live, the city is not it. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Those are my thoughts on the pros and cons. Just 3 pros and 3 cons, I would say, of living in the city. Overall though, I think I've had a pretty good experience so far. I just wanted to give it a try and just see what it was like. I think though I am more of a suburbs country girl. I just want to get married and move to the suburbs. Like, Lord, please. Like, I just want to live a simple life. I don't think the city life for me is for me long term at all. Like, I really would prefer to just get married and buy a house in the suburbs. Like, that is my goal, and I pray for that. Please, Lord. Y'all hear it's an ambulance. It was just outside the window. But anyway, so thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope it was helpful. And if you like it, you can like the video. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one.